Hello, everybody. Uh, Sam Navarre and Dejnikos. Um, guys know me. You wouldn't be even watching this if you didn't. Anyway, I appreciate you guys coming in, checking out a video here. I'm going to just basically tell you guys some stories, and I'd just appreciate it if you would either, I don't know, don't share these stories except for in the wintertime. Hopefully this video will be taken down, I don't know, a couple of weeks. But these stories, it's okay to learn them, read them, and all that stuff. But they're not supposed to be told audibly, uh, except for during the winter season, preferably when it's below freezing or frozen outside. And that's all I ask. That's all I ask. So let's get to it. Let's see. I got 4 little short stories on the agenda, and on this video. The first story that we're going to talk about is the first Anishinaabe man. I feel like that's a good place to start. And this story is coming straight out of the Blue Sky family book. These are from our Ojibwe grandfather, and so they're good. They're good. There are stories too, just because we don't get called Ojibwe doesn't mean that's not who we're descended from. And this is the story of the first Anishinaabe man. Here we go. That's just because I don't want to forget nothing for you guys. Well, I got a behaviors. What's up, buddy? You okay? Sorry, as always, I have my support crew here with me. It is a cold morning out here. It's on Valentine's Day morning, 6:30 a.m. Got Weather and Merle, they're sleeping good, so time to shoot film on the show. This is a story that the elders of the village told about how the plants offered to share their gifts with Indian people. Many years ago, before our village was here, the first Ojibwe man was alone on the earth with the plants and animals. He walked through the forest and talked to the Great Spirit as he walked, saying, "Oh, I'm so lonely. I don't have any friends, and I'd like to have some friends." I understand. As he walked through the forest, the trees began to talk to him. They said, "We are your friends. We have many gifts for you." The first tree that talked to the Ojibwe man said, "I am Weekwas, the birch tree. You can use my bark to make many useful things, like baskets to carry things and a canoe to travel in." As the Ojibwe man walked on, the pine tree called out, "I have a gift for you, and I am your friend. You can use my pitch. When you make that canoe, you can use my pitch to seal the seams so it will be waterproof. You can also use my pitch for medicine. These gifts you are welcome to have. Freely gifted." Next, the hickory tree said, "I am your friend too, and I have a gift to share. I have nuts for you, so you can come and harvest the nuts from the tree." The basswood tree was also willing to share. Basswood called out, "You can use my bark for your houses, and my inner bark for your twine, so you can sew your baskets together. I am also willing to share." And so Ojibwe man walked through the forest, and all the trees offered their friendship and their gifts to him. By the time he came to the edge of the forest, he had received many gifts from the trees. He knew he had made many new friends and had many things to share with other Ojibwe people who were not born yet. The first Ojibwe man did share these things with the people, and they made use of them in their daily lives, while always remembering to thank the trees for their wonderful gifts. So, always remember that the trees are our friends, and they have been very generous in sharing their gifts with us. And that's the story of the first Anishinaabe man. As far as his relation to the trees, the first Anishinaabe man is very interesting to me as uh, an ancient enthusiast. Um, our original man means he came down from above, which is a fairly common world held belief, and I believe that there's validation in us because we didn't get their TV channels. We had our own stories, and we were isolated, and yet they're similar. And I think that there's a strength in that. There's a strength in believing in each other. But what this story is telling us is that nature has helped nurture us. There is no nature versus nurture. It's a combination of the two. I think you guys can each look into your own heart and see that it's a combination. There's no one thing that makes us more or less as human beings, because we are clearly made up of two different things. And so, because we are different than the animals, we are. And we are different from each other. Not that there's a weakness in that. There's a strength in difference. And whenever you focus on the strength in others, then you will be left with the strength of yourself. Because the true strength of the self is to organize the team around you to do their best job. Ultimately, we're all looking for the day off now. The paid day off is what we wish. And to achieve the paid day off is to achieve grand co-workers. That's the way I see it. But in that, we're all working together. The trees, however, didn't ask us to do a lot for them. They seem to be here before us. They seem to have always been here as far as human knows. And as far as human nowadays can tell you, we can't exist without the oxygen of the tree. And so we need to consider the needs of the tree before we consider our own needs. Because if we consider ourselves before the tree, ba ba mapi. And so that's story one. The first Ojibwe man and his relationship to trees or nature. Number two, niche. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. I like this story. It's short and sweet. It's not an old story. It's a story that can be told again and again. Don't be afraid to tell your kids this story. And this is not a winter story. This is just a life lesson, guys. Some stories are lessons. If we're mentioning specific people from our past or ancestors, it's best to tell those stories in the winter. We let sleeping spirits get a nap in. You know, it's rude to wake them up and ask them to do things while they're, kind of not sleeping heavily. But they're sleeping heavy right now. And so it's okay. It's okay. We can talk about our folks because they're napping. And we're old enough to do that. But we're also old enough to respect them. Always show respect. Let that be the first thing you do. And that's this story. A little boy, he'd always been mischievous. You guys know boys. But one day he caught a little bird in his hands. Caught a little bird right there. And he said an elder came walking by, and he asked that elder. He said, "What do you think it is? Do you think it's alive or do you think it's dead?" And the elder, he thought about it for a second. Our elders were wise, very wise. I think some of you guys that are, studying a lot of money to learn somebody else's book, I think you'll see how wise they are in this. But the elder, he was pretty concerned about the bird, first off, because he grew up in a world to be concerned of others first. And he knew that the boy, and he's a grown man, he knows of the ways of man. And he thought about it. His first concern being for the bird, he realized that the answer was, he looked at the boy and he said, well, I know that if I guess that the bird is alive, you'll crush him in your hands. But if I guess that the bird is dead, you'll reveal the bird to me and we'll see him fly away. So I guess the real answer lies with you. The end. I like that story a lot. Not only does it teach, give wisdom, and is easy to learn and apply to the daily activities, but it does not require a degree to understand. Uh, you know, it's Schrodinger's cat here that's going on in this kid's hands. Whether the bird is there or not, the kid does have the ability to kill that bird. And there's a little bit more of a lesson in that than just what you think. Because a lot of us do feel as though we can only make one choice in life, and that is the wrong one, no matter how needed or necessary that may be for mankind. Mankind does not like to accept good medicine. They have been self-prescribing the bad for a long time, longer than their grandparents can reflect, longer than we can either. Let's not judge them without judging ourselves. But all man is confused, and it's a shame. It's a shame because we're obviously up to something much better than we understand. And I think that we should embrace it firmly and safely with consideration of everything that we hold in our own hands, because it's up to us to make a difference or not to make a difference. Stagnation is the ultimate bad idea, but together we can make steps forward up the stairs and pull each other along as we go. As we move up, we'll find that there's a tail or opposite whip action that we're unaware of, and in effect, it's that whip action that carries us up while we're on the stair. And so life may not appear fair to us, but at some point we will be on that backside, and we won't even know what's going on, and at the same time, we will be pulling someone else up from the backside, unaware of ourselves. And it may seem dark and scary, but just keep going with the flow, and know that you're doing the best that you can. Know that you are by doing the best that you can, and know your role. You do not have to be your brother, sister, parents, grandparents. You do not have to be what anyone tells you you are. You have to be able to listen and pick up on those vibrations. And you will know what you're supposed to do. If not, wait till you're 33 and you'll just naturally have a great year at something. And you should just go and focus on that if you're going to live to be older. If not, do your best for the kids and the old folks until you can't. But there's strength in this. There's strength in this, and it gives value to the person that's suffering. And truly, we are a four-quartered society of a medicine wheel. We don't use that wheel to, as our beast of burden. We use that wheel to teach because the circle of life is sacred. We don't attach that to our demands of another's generation's wisdom. Wisdom is contained here. Here, not not in the wallet. That's not. It's a freaking wallet. it's made by people that are called unclean, who butcher sacred cows and make them into wallets. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, I'll stop preaching now and get back to the real stories at hand. The next story we've got is The Little Boy and the Moon. The Little Boy and the Moon. The elders always told not to stare at the moon for too long. For a long time,